Good morning. This is Wilkey with StartupTrading.com. It is 8:52 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, June 18, 2020. So looking back at yesterday's session, you can see that the Russell was bearish with all of its action after the bell below the previous day's value. The Nasdaq was bullish, and the S&P 500 and the Dow were both very neutral, right? Most of the action inside of the value area from the previous day. So what I want to do is look at just again, you should at least look at this for 30 seconds to a minute every day and just let it sink in. Where we've been, where we're going, you know, just the price pattern for this year so far. So when I zoom into the more recent action, levels that haven't been really retested yet, we have one up at 31.89. From yesterday, it's going to be 31.15 again. That's what it was the day before exactly. And then below we have 30.56. We came close to hitting this overnight, but it needs to trade during the regular trading hours. All that's going to do is come back and get us to the action from the 15th, right? So that's going to take us back all the way to Monday and check on Monday. And then if that's all that's in the cards for it, we'll, float around probably in between 56 and 31.15 today. If there's more in the cards, this might be a little bit harder to chew, even though it was a big move up. But the next level of, that hasn't been checked off of below is 29.35 and then 28.43. So kind of monitor those above those, bigger areas that need tested. So looking at the ES, I've thrown two more levels of support on here. So I've got 30.61 half down below, and that's really going to test Tuesday's low, and that was a support resistance area, that was there, and it's already, tested it on Tuesday. It tested it in the overnight session. Basically, it come within 3 points of it, and we'll see if anything happens with that. And then below that, the 29.81 I just added, just as a note for something more major heading lower. So if we look at the price action overnight, 55.5 points. If we zoom into more of the action, we can see after breaking down overnight, the session started here. We broke under value as soon as we did, straight down to the bottom end of that unsupported testing range, and then coming back up, and then we've got try to turn it into value, come up and actually tagged into the value area high zone. So for the zones, I'm going to start doing zones on the ES now. It's 31.20 to 31.2275 is value area high, and for the lower side of it, it's 31.01 to 31.04. So watch potentially later for today if we don't get any downside action that stays past the euro close. Watch for an 80% roll to set up, and that's just going to get us back into the zone that we've been basically stuck in for a couple of days. Between 3,000 and 3,030 is what that's going to do for us. Looking at all the indexes overnight, we can see everything except for the Nasdaq, right, is below the previous day's low currently in trading, but they've all tested well below that in the overnight session. So watch to see if the previous day's low is a lid for the other three other than the Nasdaq today. And the Nasdaq is, just tested its gap fill, and watch for the gap fill, and that point of control has been dominant. So I think getting above 31.15, if that were to happen, gives you a chance at value area high, even though today's been bearish. So far in the overnight session, we've had almost 500,000 contracts, 485,000 contracts for the ES, and we'll see. Remember, today is the last full day of the March contract. The March contract the June contract. Today's the last full day for the June contract. It will expire before the bell tomorrow morning. So looking at the ES, we can see that the bulls really don't have anything going right now, and the bears are really holding down. So a break above or getting back into value above 31.02 quarter right now without making another new low will put some more pressure on the bears. Looking at the Nasdaq, though, you can see Coming out of those lows at 86.66 half, we've stuck to 61.8 so far and held. But if you look at where the bears are, right, they think that they're in control. So both sides think they're geniuses right now for the Nasdaq. So it could be a little bit of a choppy start to the day until one of these is proven right or wrong, or it could end up be that over the day neither group is right or wrong totally, right? They can just both get whipped around. But right now they both think that they're right, and that is a recipe for a little bit of a chop for the Nasdaq. Looking at the Russell, you can see the bears have lost, or the bulls have lost control. The bears are holding it under the 38.2 down here. So looking at the Nasdaq, this 10,019 half basically is the resistance above that we keep banging into the last couple days, and we'll see if if and when we get over here. But there's a lot of price action and a lot of downside if this keeps being rejected, right? We could retest all the way back down to 97.44 quarter basically. So keep that in mind, and I can throw I'm not going to put it on the chart today, but right around 98.35 would be as low as I think we could really get on that. Looking at the Dow, holding the 25,750, and this was a line that we really flirted with for a while before we broke it, several weeks ago. So as we look at that line, that's going to be a little bit more important, I think, even though I haven't changed the color on it yet. And then getting below there, I think until you lose 25,462, it still really doesn't mean that there's a serious trend change or anything going on other than backing and filling up in this zone after the big breakdown. And again, the major resistance above, whenever we get back up there, is going to be 27,100. Looking at the Russell, $14.03 has held so far, and we'll see if it continues to hold. Below that, I have 1377.30, and above, 1421, 1433.40, and above the 33.40, I really have nothing. We could probably pause right around 1447, 1448, but it's really 1462.60. So looking back at all the indexes and kind of putting a wrap on it, pay attention to everything but the Nasdaq really, and see if the three stay below the previous day's range. If it is, maybe we'll get down and test that 56 to 61 support levels, and watch crossing back over 61 is going to be needed, or we're going to start migrating lower. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.